Hello, you're listening to Dishin It, the food podcast for nosy Parkers. On today's episode, I speak with Graeme, the baking mastermind behind the Fat Sparrow Bakery. He started up his small batch bakery business last summer alongside his full-time job, and since then the demand for the Fat Sparrow Bakery line has been insane. So much so that he has now taken the leap to quit his day job to grow his dream. Quite literally, making his dream a reality. Quite impressed with that pun. Before we go into all things baking, something I want to do at the start of each episode is to share some of my food highlights from the weeks gone by. My favourite type of news to receive is food news. So in true me form, I'm going to go OTT to deliver this segment straight from the newsroom. It's your essential dose of food news with your host, the Food Hooper. So tying in with the baking theme, let's kick off with Bandit Bakery. These guys have been about for a while and you might have come across them on social media. They bake all sorts of sourdough, ciabatta, normal loaves, and also incredible, I don't say from taste, I say from looking because I've not tried them yet, but incredible cinnamon buns. They've just opened up a new shop on Rose Street. To say it's been popular is an understatement. This place has been swarmed by people wanting to get their hands on the bakery goods. It's been open for a few weeks now. I went a few weeks ago. I rocked up on Saturday morning, 10 o'clock, thought, right, I'll beat the rush, I'll go in at 10, and everyone likes to sleep in on a Saturday. No, not avid food fans, they're up for crack of dawn. It was like the olden days when you used to queue up for your CDs and your books, and people used to tent outside shops, remember that? It was mental. I rocked up and I want to say there was about 20 people in front of me. And bear in mind, we're in a pandemic and socially distanced queue is even longer. So it was quite the spectacle. I joined the queue, I waited for about half an hour and got to the front and I could still see there was bread and loaves on the shelves. And I was like, great, I'll definitely get some bread. I was after the cinnamon buns. The cinnamon buns look phenomenal. So 2 people in front of me went in and I had to wait for my turn to go in. And I saw them get past a little box. And I thought, oh, that must be the cinnamon buns. I knew it from there. I knew it. There wasn't going to be any cinnamon buns left for little old me. Devastated. But it was fine. They still had bread, so it was all good. So I managed to get a nice tin loaf, and it had a glaze on top. It had a maple glaze on it with sesame seeds. This loaf was great. It was perfect to taste anyway, but it stayed fresh for about 3 days. You know, normally when you get fresh bread, it goes stale, really tough, and it just kind of loses the fresh bread feeling that we love. So this one didn't. So it was great. So perfect for a ham sandwich, perfect for toast, perfect for bread and butter pudding, which I didn't try because it was all gone. Inside they have local products as well to sell. So I bought a bottle of Singularity Sauce, which is a hot sauce company, which are also local. But, you know, COVID, you've got your glasses on, you've got your mask, you're steaming up, you're trying to focus on different things that you're doing. I'm not a spicy fan. So I spotted that it said blueberry. And I was like, great, blueberry, they must do sweet sauces ace. That'll be really nice with ice cream. What a div. Went in the car, looked at the bottle, read it properly. Because also in COVID, you don't want to peruse too long. You don't want to kind of waste time and whatever. You don't want to feel like you're holding people up because people can't come in. So went to car, read the bottle properly. And it had, I think it was a 3 out of 4 chilies on the back. So gave it a try. Very spicy. So spicy lovers, you'll love this. So get that. That was also my blunder of the week, doing that. But yeah, we live and learn and we support local, and that's the main thing. Okay, so my next bit of food news is at the weekend I paid Gourmet Cheese up in Rosemount, and long overdue visit. Me and a friend were putting together a cheese hamper for another friend's birthday. So if you are also on the hunt for a gift for a fellow cheese lover, get yourself over to Gourmet Cheese. Just tell them your budget, what sort of cheeses you're looking for, what tastes that you or your giftee likes, and they will compile an amazing hamper of not only cheeses, but chutneys, crackers, olives, meats, you name it. Oh, and wine. Lots and lots of wine. This place is great not only for stocking local products, but also products from across the UK as well, so you can really get your teeth stuck into some new brands there. I could highly recommend it, and a really kind of nice shopping experience, and I cannot wait to get inside that place again. And finally, Roots at the Beach is now open until late. So now open until 8 o'clock at night on a Friday and a Saturday. Roots serves up the best dirty vegan food. If you're after a burger, hot dog, loaded fries, it's your place. I went a few weeks ago and I got one of their specials that night. It was a Beyond Meat burger with firecracker mac and cheese fritter on top with pickled red cabbage and sriracha mayo. Holy Moses. It was heaven. Absolutely beautiful. With the light nights stretching out, the days getting warmer, beach walks are calling. And what comes great with a beach walk? Burger at the end of it. Sit on a bench, look out to the sea. Burgergate. Roots at the Beach is open until 8 p.m. on a Friday and a Saturday, and it's also open on a Sunday till 4 as well. Hit up Roots. That's what to do. Right, I will stop with the food headlines. There'll be more next week, and I will get straight into this podcast. Hope you enjoy. So it's a glorious sunny Thursday, and I finished for a long weekend, and the Fat Sparrow himself has flown onto my screen since we're in COVID, and he's here to say a quick hello. It's Graeme. How you doing, Graeme?
Hello, Colin. I am fine, thank you. How are you?
Fantastic. Can't wait to get on the bevs later. I thought I'd stay professional. I've got my hydration.
Well done.
So yeah, I can't wait to get on to a good red wine later on. But you've be a minute in hand.
I do indeed. I thought, you know what? I'm going to enjoy this good weather and just relax before tomorrow's orders go out. So yeah, I am ready.
Busy. And that takes us nicely on to my first question of the night. So a logical place to start, as always, is where it all started. Let's tell everyone how you got into baking and when did you realise you were good at it?
Well, I'm still trying to realise that at the moment. So, no, do you know, I've always had an interest for food. It's not just baking. I would say, you know, it's all sorts of food and cooking and everything else. And I remember when all the other boys were out playing football, I was in watching Ready, Steady, Cook. And that is no word of a lie. I loved that program. Honestly, the green peppers, red tomatoes.
Red
I
peppers.
was there watching red peppers. Sorry. So it was just always so much fun watching that. I enjoyed that. And always got a kick out of thinking of what they're going to do. And I guess that's where it all kind of started. And I must say, my mother has always been a huge supporter of the cooking that I do. And her only rule in the house, and this is, I can remember going back to about 10 years old asking to bake, I think it was possibly fairy cakes. And I was like, you know, can I make these? And she was like, absolutely fine. Just make sure you wash up after yourself. That was the only rule in the house. I could use anything I wanted. Just make sure the kitchen was left tidy. So that was going back 10 years old. And now I'm a lot older than that and doing it professionally now. Look at this. Yeah.
Oh, God. Do you remember what the first thing was that you baked? Was it the fairy cake? So that would have been the first one?
Yeah. Do you know what? It probably was. And I remember doing a lot of kind of like truffles and, you know, like the tray bakes, you know, the no bakes as well. Mm-hmm. There was something called freckle cake. That was always very popular as well. It was condensed milk and crushed digestive biscuits and sprinkles on top. Fine. Very basic, but my goodness, it was good.
I mean, give me a can of condensed milk any day with a spoon.
Stop it. I know, it's the best part of baking is the leftovers, right?
Yeah, in the bowl.
The best.
Love it. That's fantastic. So I obviously know everything about the Fat Sparrow Bakery because I've had many tasters, many trials and all that stuff, and obviously follow you on social media, but some listeners might not be as much of a stalker as I am. So do you want to give everyone a flavour of what this Fat Sparrow is all about?
Absolutely. So the Fat Sparrow is a small batch bakery based here in Aberdeen. And at the moment, we're focusing mostly on cupcakes and also cinnamon rolls, which, even if I do say so myself,
insane.
Ridiculous. Like I'm actually quite worried about a lot of people. There's quite a few people addicted to them now, and I'm like, oh, are you sure you want to order more? And hey, I want the orders coming through, but I think I'm gonna have to set up a self-help group or something about them. But they're just so good, and they're the American style as well. You know, that sort of you know, thick cream cheese icing on top and that gooey kind of center. Oh man! And you heat them up for 10 seconds, and you just go from great to amazing. I love it.
They're insane.
So I've kind of focused the Fat Sparrow Bakery, around the cupcakes that I'm doing with different flavor combinations, and everything is made here fresh in my kitchen. So, I don't go out and buy different fillings or curds. Everything is made from scratch. And it takes a lot of time, but it also puts a lot more effort and what I think love into the product that I'm putting out there. I'm very proud of the products I put out. And I like to change up the flavors. At the moment, we're on the spring selection. It's coming to an end. And then we'll go back to our signature selection, which is a mix of lemon flavored cupcakes and raspberry. And we've got one with ginger and salted caramel. And so it's just playing with flavor combinations. And yeah, it's been a great success. And I don't know if I ever told you about the name, the Fat Sparrow, where that came from.
Well, you haven't, and conveniently, that was my next question. Where did the name come
from?
Oh,
look at that. Straight onto it.
It's almost like you've been briefed.
Oh, would you imagine? Never. I don't think so, Colin. So the Fat Sparrow, a few years back, and I really do mean a few years, we're probably going back about 9 years ago. And I was here in Aberdeen visiting my sister, and I was in her kitchen looking out in the garden, and this big fat bird landed on a wall. I thought, well, isn't that a strange? Sometimes in life things just take your attention. You're like, what the heck is that? So we're standing there, and I was looking. I was like, what is that? Big fat bird. And then she came over and she goes, I don't know, what's our bird? You can't even make it out. Is that fat? And then her partner Ross came along too and said, that's definitely a sparrow. It's a fat sparrow. And it just clicked. It was just there. I was like, what a great name for a cafe or a pub or something, And they're like, what about a bakery? The Fat Sparrow. We thought, right, that's it. And from that day onwards, I've been looking at podgy birds.
Turning.
Oh, honestly, yep, podgy birds.
Because pigeon doesn't have the same ring to it.
Oh, but the podgy pigeon, can you imagine?
Podgy pigeon, yeah, podgy pigeon.
The portly pigeon, there's so many
the cellulite seagull.
Cellulite seagull. Scrounging seagull. My feelings with seagulls, Colin. God. I'm not a fan, all right? I'm not a fan.
Shite bag seagull. That's what they are.
They can scurry off. Yeah.
And what's exciting about all of this is that it started off as a hobby for you.
Yes, it did.
And now it's your full-time job. So how does it feel hearing that?
Oh, well, and today, actually, when we're talking, is the first day of the Fat Sparrow. And I chose the 1st of April for a couple of reasons. One was my bosses. I used to work in America many years ago as well. And my two bosses there, they were inspirational, a couple, Jim and Barbara. And sadly, they both passed away this year. Oh. And within a month of each other in their late 80s, and had a good run at life, I would say. Fabulous people, big inspiration in my life. And they set up their business on the 1st of April. He was always very proud of that. He was like, I set it up on April Fool's Day. Imagine that. No joke here sort of thing. So I thought, nope, this is going to be the inaugural day of the Fat Sparrow. So here I am, full time.
Oh, amazing.
And it came about after many years of just kind of dabbing in and out, baking cakes for people, and mostly birthday cakes, if I'm honest, or fondant style, doing kind of themed cakes. And I was put in furlough last year, as so many people were. Good old COVID, right? But this is one of these good stories from COVID. Bear with us.
Yes.
I was put in furlough, and I just thought, why not try it? Now's the time to do it. I've got that security of my full-time job, and now's a chance to test the market. And I honestly never expected it to go quite as well as it has. And I'm so proud of what I've done so far.
And it's crazy, like because I remember, obviously, to give everyone a background, me and Graeme used to work together in our past job. So that is how I first got introduced to the Fat Sparrow Bakery, through treats getting taken to the office every day. Well, I like to say every day. It wasn't every day, but
no. Let's just say it was. Hey,
every week.
I was so generous.
But when Graeme was starting out, I did a wee kind of review and stuff of his blog, and I think it was the best performing kind of brand collaboration blog I've done, but it was largely based on your following, because so many people were behind it and sharing it and be like, oh my God, amazing, because you obviously got a good network of people who knew about you already. And I was really surprised at how massive it went. And it's because people just love what you do, and they love seeing something different. And I mean, we've got a lot of cupcake brands and baking brands in Aberdeen, and it was just different from the usual, what's he called? The blue thing with the cookies. What's he called again? Not Honey Monster. Cookie Monster.
Oh,
Sesame Street. Sorry.
I didn't know where you were going there with
Graham's
that.
face was like looking like, is this boy on acid? What the hell's happening?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't get that note. Okay.
So there was a lot of those like those sort of brands about, and it was all like you're loaded with syrups and stuff on top, and it's just like too sweet. But Graham's cupcakes are kind of artisan bakery, as he said, different flavor combinations, and just something different, which I think Aberdeen needed.
Do you know what, Colin? But I would add to that too, and I've heard this from a couple of people, and I try not to look too deep into this, but I've had a couple of customers actually call me out and say, you know what, it's like cupcakes for adults. And I was like, oh, wait a minute here.
God,
but they're not themed, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So keep it clean here. But they are. They're not. They're for grown-ups. You know, that's probably a better way to go here.
Yeah.
They're cupcakes for grown-ups.
They're not X-rated.
They're not X-rated.
They might be. They might be in the future.
Listen, and I tell you, you can make anything out of fondant. You know, you can do it.
Oh jeez, I did not think the conversation was going to go this way.
Oh, it's so soon as well, right?
So soon. Okay, so I was waiting to ask, what did you do on your first day? And I didn't realize today was your first day of the Fat Sparrow Bakery. So obviously you've got a podcast interview today. But what were you doing early on today? And please don't say crying.
No, I wasn't. I mean, I was rocking in the corner, just back and forth. No tears, though. But, you know, thinking, what we're going to do. No, today was actually a cinnamon roll day. So I was out delivering, had 18 orders going out, and I cover across the city. And this is one of the challenges. And I do everything, you know, from beginning to end. So it's from taking the order, doing the website, to the social media, to baking, to delivering, to then coming back. So it's a labor of love, and it really is. And I wish I could deliver more at the moment, but my kind of capacity is about 20 mark, and it's covering about 5-mile radius within Aberdeen city centre. And, you know, I get people all the time, you know, places like Inverurie or Banbury or down in Stonehaven, oh, please, could you deliver to me? And I would love to, you know, and this is the future plans, but it's just slow and steady at the moment. And we'll get there. And I'm hoping to, with the cinnamon rolls, to go and do a postal service pretty soon.
Yeah.
And that way, you know, anyone within the UK can actually order them online, and then I can post them out. But it's just myself right now, and I am a small batch bakery, so it's all from home. You know, capacity can be a challenge at times. So, you know, but again, I've got so much faith in this project that will grow. And I think, again, if anything, COVID has kind of proven is that people are willing to support local, and there's a 100%. Demand. And I don't know how you feel about this, but you know, the big players are kind of fizzing out, you know, they've still got a place in society, absolutely, your Starbucks, Costas, etc. But you know, I pass places like Figment down here, it's very close to where I live, and the queue out the door right now is just phenomenal. People want, you know, coffee, they want cake, they want to support a local business. Same with Orca down on this in Swithin Street. You know, people have a desire to have something a bit different and get out there. So I think the more that the city of Aberdeen can do to support small businesses like myself to have that frontage without getting into debt before you even start, you know, give them that opportunity. Brilliant. Yeah.
Well, let's hope for Sparrow Mail to be coming.
Oh, Sparrow Mail. I'm jotting that down right
there. We go. There you go. Pop it down. I'll trademark it. No, but I think that's a very true point. I think a lot more. I mean, support local has always been a cloud in the back of everyone's mind, but I think with lockdown, people have really gotten behind it more. And I think it's from seeing these massive companies that have announced that they're closing down and whatever because of the pandemic, and because of that, they're like, oh, well, if this massive multinational company is closing, what about my little cafe down the road? Like, how are they coping with all this stuff? And I think it is putting things into perspective to people that we do need to keep the local independent things alive.
There's a desire as well within it. There's a creative culture in Aberdeen as well. You know, we get branded quite a lot as being, you know, quite and I hate to say this, but quite a doer sort of city, you know, and it's so not true. You know, it's a bright, beautiful place, and the sun shines here more than most places. We know this. You know, can you tell we both worked in tourism for so long, right?
More sunshine than Miami, I believe.
Oh, I believe. I did read that fact somewhere. That was back
written by Graeme himself.
But there is a desire for, you know, young people to really move up here and create more and be, I guess, create a different industry for the city. You know, it's not all oil and gas, you know. And I think that's very important. And projects like, I think it's Stack X. Am I right in saying it? You know, when the market
Stacks.
closed.
Yeah,
Stacks. Sorry,
Stacks.
Stacks. I'm just old school here. Stack X. You know, just that's how I read it, right? But projects like that are going to be massive going forward. You know, and we already miss the market in places like Abo and the Sushi Box. All these different places that, you know, they had a purpose there, and I hope we go back to that. I really do.
I think, and I hope we do. I think it's like what you say. I've always said with like Aberdeen as a city does get a hard time.
It does,
but there's so much, and Aberdeenshire, but there's so much talent and so much people wanting to do stuff. But I think we're getting to a stage that people can actually start to do things and group together and make things happen. I like what we saw in the market, and hopefully with Stacks as well when that happens. Fingers crossed.
I know, totally.
So the Fat Sparrow, you must be coming up for a first birthday.
June.
Soon.
Yeah, it was just before Father's Day, actually. Yep. So it's
June it is.
June it is.
What date
Party.
in June is it?
Oh, I want to say it was around the 16th, but I'd have to look back.
Just so I can get the card in the post.
Oh, thanks very much. I appreciate that.
So you're coming up to a year of doing the Fat Sparrow, and obviously you mentioned that you started it alongside your full-time job. Did you ever think you'd be going into full-time so soon for Fat Sparrow?
Well, interesting. I was speaking to a person that visits Scotland the other day that I used to work with, and she reminded me, she was like, you always said by March you would be flying with the Fat Sparrow. And I was like, here I am, you know, right at the top into the 1st of April, and I'm flying high with the Fat Sparrow. I guess yes is the answer to that. So I was working in conferencing, and the market at the moment is not there. But yeah, it was getting very difficult. This past 12 months have been very hard going for the conference and events industry. So I think naturally it just came about that this was the time. This is the time to go with the Fat Sparrow. So it's a huge risk, don't get me wrong. And I'm fortunate to have, you know, a loving partner, my boyfriend Paul, who's here, and he doesn't know it yet, but financially supporting me. So hopefully he's listening to this podcast too.
He better be.
You better be, absolutely.
That's my one listener I was hoping on.
And it's been really great to have that support, you know, and even if it is just little things around the house or helping tidy up, or, you know, I just need that sometimes to get through things. And also, I don't know if you've noticed, but I've got a tendency to get carried away. Have you ever noticed that?
Really? You?
Yeah, me? What? So I need reined in sometimes, and that's a very important job that Paul does. Yeah. That's true.
And would you say I suppose in the dynamic of you and Paul, are you the risk taker?
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
And it's good to have that sounding board just to be like, I'm thinking of making X-rated cupcakes. What do you think?
Well, hey, let's do it. Yep, we're on it.
Paul, the answer is no.
No. Definitely. It's like, think of your brand. Is this what you want to go down? I was like, oh, who knows? You know, that's a rabbit hole altogether. But yeah, he's been a great sounding board, and you know, it's as much his business as it is mine. Although obviously I put the hours in, but he's very much involved. He likes to call himself my boss. So I was like, hell no, that's not that. But no, it's been really exciting, and yes, I am a bit more of a risk taker than he is, definitely. But you know, it's like everything in life. If you don't try, you never know. And I think, to be honest, Colin, if I didn't do this now, when will I do it? And that's the bottom line. Yeah,
I think with lockdown and pandemic and all that, I think it puts in perspective that life is too short. So do what makes you happy.
Yeah,
be with people that you want to be with, and just like keep it going. And I think when would be the time that you'd actually be able to do it again properly?
And who needs sleep, right? Who needs to sleep, right?
Sleep.
Sleep early mornings, you know. Oh my god, it's a good job I love an early morning, right? You know, you should see me though with my hairnet on. It's quite something. It's like a French beret. It kind of like tilts to the left.
Dude, it quite something.
Honestly, I'm like Frank Spencer. Anyway.
So now you've got a lot more time to put into the business. Is there something going on in the background that you've always wanted to get done, but you've just not had the time to do it?
Well, yeah, I mean, product development is going to be big here, and that's the kind of bottom line. I think ultimately for the next kind of month or so, I need to figure out what did you call it, the Sparrow Mail?
Sparrow Mail.
Absolutely. I'm fortunate. I've got a huge network of fabulous friends. Look at me boasting. They're wonderful friends all over the place. But no, generally speaking, I get a lot of requests from people, whether it be in Edinburgh, Glasgow, London, asking, can you post them to me? And my cupcakes are not going to fare well in that journey. I'm not going to lie to you, right?
Yeah.
But the cinnamon rolls, they absolutely will.
Yeah.
And I want to develop that because it's a market I want to get into.
Definitely.
It's the postal market and sharing the love,
And it's something different as well. Like people, like Rachel, my girlfriend, she ordered me, I can't remember when, it must have been last year sometime. She ordered me cookies in the post, and it was like fuck the virus and all that stuff. And it was like stuff like that, quirky stuff that you don't get anywhere, and cinnamon rolls in the post. What better meal to get?
Oh, please. Ready for like a Saturday morning? Are you kidding me? Cup of coffee sitting out in the veranda. I don't know where I live, right? But, like
veranda.
Just sitting there overlooking the vista of Aberdeen. It's going to be wonderful, honestly. It's
amazing. And is there a cafe in the Northeast that you would love to see the Fat Sparrow Bakery on sale in?
Oh, definitely. I mean, that's another thing too I'm working on right now is wholesale. And it's something I haven't really considered before. I've been approached by a couple of businesses already within Aberdeen and one out with. I'm not going to name names at the moment. So hopefully you will see Fat Sparrow products kind of popping up pretty soon. But ultimately, I suppose the end goal for me is to have my own cafe, or own sort of
that'd be amazing
small restaurant style. I'm obsessed with breakfast. I love like American style breakfast, and I think that's one thing that's maybe lacking a little bit in Aberdeen is somewhere you could just go for, a brunch or an early breakfast. But yeah, watch this space. Maybe it will be the Fat Sparrow or the Podgy Pigeon.
Speaking of everything you've got going on, so you've obviously got your seasonal cupcakes, you've got your indulgent cinnamon buns and cardamom buns. I'd shout out to, I think it was in your signature box, the first one with the lemon meringue pie one.
Oh yeah, the lemon meringue. Yeah.
Yeah, that lemon curd. Is it?
Yeah,
great? Okay,
it
get an order in.
It
honestly, the lemon curd in that made me melt into a puddle of gloop. It was bloody fantastic. And it's just like he puts like a meringue top on top and he flame torches it, and it's just absolutely beautiful. But yeah, so you've got all those different things. Where do you take your inspiration from?
Ooh, there's so many. I mean, I love a recipe book. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
Love it. I could sit down and just spend all day, if I had the time, just going through recipe books. But I mean, a lot's on social media. I mean, I do follow a lot of cafes and bakeries around the globe, and you get a lot of ideas through them. The other thing too I'd like to do is more kind of Scandinavian dishes, like more bakery items, and that's that kind of following that kind of like the hygge, like the kind of feeling warm and feeling warm and cozy. And I think the Scottish version is kosegach, which is like cozy in Gaelic, basically. But it didn't really catch on like hygge did. So I would like to do more in that terms. And yeah, again, it's mostly just reading through books and inspiration there, and also television has come a long way as well when it comes to baking shows. And whether it's the Bake Off or whether it's the there's another show they do more patisserie stuff on as well. There's and even watching Nigella from time to time. Talking of the old X-rated muffins. So it's like
she would buy them.
She would buy them. Oh, I tell you. So, but no, there's all different ideas popping around, and But it's funny you should mention the curds actually, because at the moment we have I don't think you've tried it actually. I might be wrong, but the mango curd. There's a mango curd.
Oh no! I'm not
sure. Wow! Like even I shock myself at times. I mean, I go through a fair amount of eggs. I mean, I really should invest in chickens or something because it's ridiculous. But the mango curd I'm making at the moment in the spring box, which comes to an end sadly tomorrow, so it'll be back next year. But maybe we'll do something more with that. And it's in the middle of one of my celebration cakes as well, and it's just so like tasty. It's got that kind of tropical feel to it, but also it's like a Solero. If a Solero was a cake, it is there, right?
That's the tagline for that cake.
Honestly. Who am I?
And that's the thing with Graeme's cakes. It's all handmade, syrups, sauces, you name it. It's all made from scratch. So that's what makes them extra special. No shop bad things here.
No.
And
No.
I mean, all that kind of expertise that you've got, it all trickles in to build up your unreal flavor combinations, and that puts your stamp on what you do and makes you so different from everyone else. What's your favorite flavor combo? And it could be one you've done already, or it could be one that you just love anyway out with.
You know what? Like I really like the raspberry and vanilla one. So it's in my box. It's coming out. What month have we now? April. There we go. That wasn't so difficult. This is what the early morning starts do to you. Just like fries the brain. You're like, what day is this? So yes, it's in my signature box. There's a raspberry and vanilla, and I just love summer fruits. And I think that's one thing Scotland does well, is like a summer fruit. Oh my god, the raspberries and strawberries. I just love it when the barberries come in and Castleton Farm. And oh, it's just amazing. So so now I've got a raspberry one. So it's got creme pat in the middle of a vanilla cupcake, and it's topped off with a raspberry buttercream with raspberry filling, fresh raspberries, and dried raspberries as well. And it's just to die for. And anything with custard, like I think I've got a problem, Colin. Like I don't know what it is, like, but just custard. God, it's so good, right?
Well, when you said the condensed milk thing with the digestives, I think you do something like that. I mean, you just set a taste.
I know, I've set the bar right. Well, I need to do it. So yeah.
So I think there might be a lot, well, I'm being presumptuous, maybe a few keen bakers listening, hoping for your baking tips.
Oh, wow,
so
okay.
I'm gonna throw a few questions at you just so you can bestow your mind and the power of baking onto some people. And I know I've not briefed you with this, so this will truly test you.
This could be interesting. All right.
Because I don't actually know if these are.
I've got my beer in hand, right? So
who knows what we'll get?
Who knows? Who knows?
Okay, so what's a baking hack that you swear by?
Oh, I don't know if it's so much of a hack as a tip, I suppose. But when it asks for soft butter, make sure it is soft butter. Do not skip that part, people, all right? Because you will regret it in the long term. It does. It makes a huge difference. And also, your butter can be too soft, which is a pain, but it can also be too hard. So I find myself sometimes, especially with my the cream cheese icing, it has butter in it and it needs to be soft. If it's not soft, you're going to have lumps of butter and it's just a nightmare to deal with. So soft butter, you hear me?
Soft butter.
Yes.
And flying off of that question, if you take your butter out the fridge, how long should you let it defridge?
Defridgify? Well, the defrigification should be, well, I leave it out overnight, to be honest with you, and I do leave it quite close to heater, not on a heater. All right, I've made that mistake once before. I went off to take Paul to work. I came back and there was butter all down the wall, and the dog was in heaven. So I was like loving it. Thought like she actually thought the radiator was just like delivering butter from the gods above, dripping constantly.
This is the butter tap.
The butter tap. Here we go.
Butter tap. Okay, what's a baking book everyone should have a copy of?
I'm going to go with a cooking book which has baking in it, and it's one of my favorites, and it's Leith's Cookery Bible. Now, it's not a book with like lovely pictures, it's all pretty and everything else. It is a Bible, people. All right, you look it up. Chapter 4, verse 5, thou shalt read book in bed. No, it's a fabulous book. It teaches everything. It's by Prue Leith and
by Prue Leith herself.
Yeah, Prue Leith and Caroline Waldegrave. That's who it is. And there's just so many great recipes in there, and it does teach you the basics of absolutely everything without being too complicated. So it's a must-have. I love it. Swear by it. And it's like this thing. Your listeners can't see that, but it's thick, all right, guys. It's thick.
It's big. Like 4 Yellow Page magazines.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah. I mean
you can't call it a magazine.
You can hold a door open with this bad boy, all right?
We'll use that.
It's big.
What's the best recipe to start off with if you're new to baking?
Oh, freckle cake, obviously. I just mentioned cake. I don't know. That's a very good question. I mean, I think maybe something as simple as a confetti cake, to be honest with you. You know, it is your basic standard. I guess what a lot of people make the first mistake with is not following the recipe. You know, like baking is a science, people.
And this is something I've learned, in cooking, I wing it. Like I just shove it in a pan and hope for the best, put in bits and bobs. baking, you can't do that. That's why
No.
I don't really like baking, because it never goes well for me.
Yeah, and so many people are like that, and having the patience.
I've had
you know.
many a paperweight's gone.
Oh, absolutely! Like you could break a window,
God
right?
awful.
You could
Yeah. No, I
yeah.
think it would bounce. I don't think it would break. I think it would bounce.
God, no, Colin. God love you. You should
Bounce
order
and give
them
me a
from Fat
black
Sparrow.
eye. There we go. Oh, would you ever do scones, actually?
I have in the past, actually. I mean, I don't mind if people get in touch with me and, have a request, they want some scones or pancakes or whatever. As long as I have the capacity that day to make it, yes, I can. That's no problem. And again, hopefully in the future, I'll kind of introduce that. But no, definitely people follow the recipe,
Follow the recipe.
It is an absolute science. And I've made the mistake too. Sometimes I'm like, well, I'll just start this and see what happens. Don't. Right?
Waste.
Not, it is. Yeah, I know.
Waste.
Anyway.
And we started off the butter debate. But
yep.
What is better, butter or marge?
Ooh, you got me over a pedestal with this one.
Is marge better suited for certain things and butter for others?
Yeah, I think so. I find that margarine sometimes in a cake makes it a lot lighter and it keeps it softer for longer. And I think butter has its purpose as well. It keeps it. I wouldn't say it's a stodgier cake, but it's a more crumb-like cake. You know, it keeps that crumb a lot longer. And I guess what I find is when you use butter, you have to use other things to keep that moisture in.
Yeah.
So whether it's putting a sugar syrup on top, or whether it's having a kind of quite a watery jam that kind of soaks into the sponge to keep that moisture in. And I must admit, I do go between the two. I do find margarine is suited for some bakes. I'm going to get hate mail, am I? This is what's going to happen now.
You put margarine in my cake?
Stark! I didn't know this. But for the cupcakes,
I thought you made the butter yourself with your own cow.
I know. I thought you said you didn't buy anything from the shop. Oh, okay. I definitely put butter in the cupcakes, but for some of the celebration cakes, I would add marge over butter. Definitely.
Great. And Mum, if you're listening, you should be listening to every one of these podcasts. Margarine does not belong on toast. Okay. Thank you.
What?
She likes... Kathy Fraser likes margarine.
Margarine on toast? Oh my God. Next you'll be telling me she likes Marmite. She
does. She loves Marmite.
Oh God. Oh, thank you.
Okay, so Mum, you've heard it from the Fat Sparrow himself.
Yeah. Tweet.
No marge. Let's make an end to this.
Hey, marge.
Okay, so I have cracked an egg. I've gotten the shell in the yolk. What's the best way to remove it? There's many hacks out there, but I want to know what you
definitely.
do.
So, and listen, I do it a lot. I'm not going to lie. And I do apologize to any
That's
customers.
what was in my cupcake last week.
Yeah, I was going to say, I apologize to any customers that had a wee crunch and like, oh, what was that? It was just egg. All right. It was eggshell. Eggs can be a nightmare at times. Again, it's one of those things that, it's a skill cracking an egg, and there's days I'm great and there's days I'm like, why Lord, why did this happen? But if you get shell in there, use a shell to get it out. So use the half and dip it into the white. Shell on shell is what I do.
That's what I do, so that's good to know.
But you'll also find, just another top tip, is if you were using something like a glass bowl, like a Pyrex bowl, when you're pouring the egg mixture, if you happen to mix it up, about 9 times out of 10 the little bit of shell will stay in the glass bowl. Yeah, it will. So it won't go into your cake. Absolutely. Yep.
You learn
physics,
every day.
Chemistry. I don't know what it is, all right, but it just happens.
Bakeology. That's what we'll
call it. Yeah.
Bakeology, brought to you by the Fat Sparrow Bakery. This always happens to me.
Okay.
I need self-raising flour, but I've used it all and I've only got plain. What do I do?
Go to the shop. What were you thinking, right?
Right, okay, we're back at the start of pandemic. There's no flour to be seen.
Well, then you shouldn't be baking. You should order from the Fat Sparrow. What's wrong with you?
Graeme, this is not how this podcast is supposed to go. You're supposed to answer every question.
Okay, fine. No, I would have to be honest with you, I would probably be consulting my True Leaf book. And with that, I mean, you can add baking powder to it, but in terms of what quantities against the plain flour, I'm not quite sure. Because really all self-raising flour is plain flour with additives to make it raise. Right. So that's why you don't really want to add more baking powder to self-raising flour, because it just won't rise. It's too much rising. It's just like, what the hell? What else is going on here? It just won't rise. So don't do it.
And this is when I always get mixed up. What is the difference with baking powder and bicarbonate of soda? Are they the same thing?
I think they are very similar. You're testing my knowledge here of my Bakeology science lesson here. I believe that they are very similar. Cream of tartar is not. Cream of tartar is a completely different. Not that you've asked about that, but I'm just going down that route.
Talk about skirting about a question.
I know it's my podcast. No, they're very similar. I'm going to go with that. But normally, I think
one's more acidic. I think like it's got
one is more acidic,
taste.
yeah, and that's the tartar would have the acid in it.
Right.
Yeah, and then you would mix that with, but somebody's going to write in or like call them like he's talking nonsense.
He doesn't know anything.
Yeah, just if you don't have the ingredients, just don't make it. Make something else.
Just don't try and wing it. Just don't wing it.
Don't wing it. That's what I'm saying. Follow the recipe.
And this takes us to the end of Baking Mastermind.
Thank God! I'm sweating.
I have to say, I've probably given you an easy right. If you were to do Mastermind as a PR tool, I probably wouldn't. You'd get torn to shreds by that old man.
Yeah, I'd be in the corner crying. Yeah.
So what do you put on a scone first? Jam, then cream, or cream, then jam?
Oh, good question. So I am a butter, cream, then jam.
Butter and cream, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, I laugh at your mother having margarine on toast, but like I'm just like going for all the fat at once, right? It's just like, get that in you. But of course, the jam has to be quite loose, we'll call it, so that it does sit on top of the cream, because you can't spread it on top. But I'm definitely cream then jam. True. All the time.
Well, Graeme, that takes us to the end of Baking Mastermind, and you have scored. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3. I mean, I don't know why I'm scoring. I didn't know what the right answer was. So you got full marks.
Points don't matter here. Woohoo!
Speaking of jam, actually, you are no stranger to making your own jam.
Oh, no, I'm not.
And you gave me a rhubarb and ginger jam once. What's your favourite jam to make?
Oh, yeah, I did. I remember that rhubarb and ginger. It was a good one.
It was a good one.
Paul's mum actually makes a mean rhubarb and clove jam. Now, that is a taste sensation. But I think if I was to go back to basics, strawberry, just keep it simple, guys. You know, when you've got a product that is as fabulous as like Scottish strawberries, keep it simple.
Love it. And what's your favourite thing to bake? And it doesn't have to be part of the Fat Sparrow line.
Do you know what I quite enjoy doing is a lemon meringue pie.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, which I do actually want to introduce to our product line very soon. What I'd like to do is maybe on the Fridays, do it as a dessert day. So it's all desserts going out, from sticky toffee pudding to lemon meringue pies to tiramisus, etc. But this is down the line, so stay tuned.
Okay, right. So to take you out of your happy place about baking.
Yep.
I don't know if you've seen the Bake Off from Tuesday.
I have not.
Bake Off. Okay, well, you're going to get a spoiler. And people listening, if you've not watched it yet, you hopefully should have by now. But basically, it was an episode with KSI. He has no baking experience, and I think it was the technical. It's a technical.
Okay.
They got tasked with making a berry tart, and he made his tart and he made it in the case and whatever. And he's like, "Oh, how did I get out the tin? Didn't think about this." He got a cake stand and put it on the top of his tart and flipped it.
Oh no!
A cake. And he took off it. Like you could tell, he was like, "Oh, bugger!" I've just realised what I've done. Sauce everywhere, all the insides of the pie out, and then he didn't take off the casing because he was like, "This is not going to end well." And basically, it was an absolute carnage scene. But have you ever had a baking disaster that still gives you cold sweats?
Oh gosh, all the time, like all the time.
Everything I make for Fat Sparrow Bakery.
Have you not tried them already? I try to think of baking disaster. Well, I remember when I was young once. And I actually think I may have cried a little bit over this one too. I was young and naive, but I was making a queen of puddings. in the oven, and the
What's a queen of pudding? What is that?
oh, the queen of it's an old-fashioned dessert, and it's breadcrumbs with a kind of custard. Obviously, I'm obsessed. Kind of on top of there, it kind of soaks into the custard. It's got jam on top, and then it's got meringue, and it's baked in the oven.
Oh, I think they made this on Bake Off a few weeks ago.
They may have.
I think they did. I think they did.
Yeah, it's quite old-fashioned. But the bowl or the Pyrex dish that I had it in at the time just wasn't suited for the oven, and it smashed.
No.
Like it actually went to pieces in the oven. Like, oh man, my mother was not happy. I'm just gonna say. So that wasn't so good. But no, the more recent disaster, it's more decorating disasters I have. Sometimes I have to question my color palette. And I was making
because Graeme's decorating skills are insane.
Oh,
like I've never seen flowers that actually look like they could be a flower.
And they could, yeah, and they're edible. What?
It's mental. And like he once give our background, a colleague of ours in our previous job was actually going down to bake off an extra slice, so they were going to be in the audience, and Graeme baked her a cake, and it was a Highland cow cake, and it was called Prue the Coo, and it didn't look like Prue leaf, but it had characteristics of Prue leaf. Prue leaf isn't a cow. But sorry, Prue, if you're listening.
Wow.
But it got some camera time, and it was great. But Graeme's his decorating skills are tip top.
I was making Paul's birthday cake, and it was his 30th actually. And I don't know what came over me with the color combinations. I was making swirls on the side. It was like buttercream swirls, and it just looked awful. So actually, in the end, I had to like scrape them all off, and I replaced it with fondant. And it was just a disaster cake. I mean, he loved it. He didn't know anything else about it, but I have pictures. It tasted great, but it wasn't quite celebratory like I had planned. Yeah. Never mind.
And is that something? I know it's something I struggle with when I'm baking. When I've pictured something in my head and it's like it's gonna look like this. Is that quite a regular thing with you? Like you've got the image in your head, and if it doesn't turn out the way it does, is that quite a frustrating part?
Definitely. I mean, I can be quite harsh on myself in terms of being very critical and be like, that's not how it's supposed to be, or sometimes I need to learn less is more. Yeah, that's if you ever see some of my flower cakes, I just get carried away and I'm like, oh, put another rose in here, oh, more tulips. I just go, and then you realize, oh no, there's no cake left, because it's just covered in flowers, buttercream flowers. So yeah, I need to kind of learn a bit more about just take your time, Graeme. Sometimes classy can come from a little bit less. Let's just say, but a little bit less.
So speaking of Bake Off, imagine you're in the tent. You see the
Colin. I applied 3 times and I have never got past
even
application. Rude.
And you're flying the Scottish flag. Like, come on,
I know.
Flag.
And 1 year they didn't even have anyone from Scotland. And I was I applied.
Representation is now that they had the guy that won, they're probably not going to have the Scottish people for a while.
Oh, that's true. Same as Gogglebox. I'm just waiting for them to call, if I'm honest.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. So I'm on Bake Off. I'm in the tent.
You're on Bake
roasting.
Off.
They've sent me a chocolate challenge. Yeah.
glorious spring day. The lambs are maying outside,
of course.
You can see the gingham altlar in front of you. And what are you making for your signature, your technical, and your showstopper to ensure that you get Star Baker title that week?
Oh man. Okay.
So let's start with the signature.
Signature. I'm going to go back to my old favorite that I mentioned before, and I think it's because I like to set things on fire, and it's going to be the old lemon meringue again. So lovely crisp pastry base, that beautiful tart flavored curd in the middle, and then topped with Italian meringue, toasted by that.
Actually, going back to the Baking Mastermind, what is the different types of meringue? I didn't know there was different ones.
Oh yeah, there's Italian meringue, there's Swiss meringue, there's French meringue, there's also, I believe, a Russian meringue, but don't ask me that one because might have made that one up. So the Italian meringue is when you have the egg whites you're whipping in the bowl, but you add a sugar syrup, so it's been boiled up, and it's roasting hot, so it cooks the meringues through. So I use it quite a lot in my baking. And you've got the mixer on for ages because you're cooking the eggs through, right? The French meringue is your more common type that has that kind of like crispy shell on the outside. It's in the oven for days, basically.
Oh, I don't like.
I've had some disasters there too, honestly. Once I had to make it 3 times. I'm like, why is it collapsing? We're just like, oh, I don't get it. So that's a French one. And the Swiss meringue is done over a bain-marie, actually. So it's quite different. So you've got egg whites and sugar over a bain-marie, and the sugar will disintegrate. And you can either continue to whisk on top of that, or you can take it over to a bowl, whisk it in the mixer. So it cooks through as well.
Who knew meringue could be so diverse?
Apparently I did. I mean, really, what's that
baking
about?
expert.
Because I'm obsessed with lemon meringue pie. Love it.
Okay, so for your technical, what's something that you can do really well that some people may struggle with? What would be the killer thing you would do?
I think it would be profiteroles. I think, and again, it's my custard fetish. Oh no, it's that whole thing. So no, I love a good profiterole or eclair. You can't go wrong with it. Very good filling. A lovely choux pastry.
Choux bun.
That's the one. And you can present it really well as well. I've seen some beautifully presented with fruit, a bit like the cupcakes I make with fruit and flour. Yeah, something along that lines would be. Although I've never done a croque and bouche is what I was going to say.
A croque and bouche? What?
It's called a croque and bouche, isn't it? It's the tower of profiteroles.
I mean, I would know.
I mean, it's not a croque madame or a croque monsieur, so it must be a croque and bouche. Girl, I hardly know her.
Bouche.
So, yeah, it's when you've got the profiteroles and they're glued together by caramel, and you make that big tower. Do you know, Colin, if it's your birthday, I'll make you a croque and bouche. There you go.
Well, unpopular opinion, profiteroles aren't my thing.
What's wrong?
And I think I actually had this conversation at work the other day. It's the cream inside. Like, sometimes you just have cream that has no taste. And I feel like that ruins. But then if it's a cream with like a bit of vanilla and a bit of sugar or something through it just to sweeten up a little bit, I like it a bit more.
Yeah, but then this is what you see. It's not all about the cream. It's the creme pat. It's a very French thing.
I've obviously I've been sold a lie. Like Christmas Day, my family go to my Auntie Anne's up in Inverness, and the profiterole is the showstopper of the day, and I don't take any. My sister takes bloody spoonfuls. She's like, profiteroles, give it to me. And I'm just like, nah, I'll take a strawberry tart. I feel like I'm not doing myself justice because I'm like, I feel like I should have it, but maybe that's it, Auntie Anne. Maybe you need to do. Maybe you don't. Maybe you do a creme pat. Maybe I'm just my taste buds are dead.
No, I mean listen, you can have a fresh cream in there too. Dinner. I mean, fresh cream works, and that's all right. But no, the creme pat, and also this is where you can flavor it. So like a pistachio creme pat is amazing.
My God, now you're talking.
A chocolate creme pat, raspberry creme pat. I mean, it's just endless, the opportunities. Colin, I'm making you
fantastic.
A croque and bouche
with the chocolate on top. Are you a drizzle all over, or are you a dip? I don't know. Like how would you do the chocolate? What's your belief with your profiteroles?
Oh man. Okay. I'm not a drizzler. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Not a drizzler. I think no. I like things to be quite precise. I'm a perfectionist, and that can be a problem at times. It's not a joyful situation when you're a perfectionist because you see fault in everything you do, and that sucks at times. But if you take time and place it on quite professionally, it looks beautiful.
Beautiful. Yeah. And finally, the showstopper. What are you making us?
Well, do you know what? I'd probably go with a celebration cake. At the moment, and it depends because
they always bode well.
They do bode well. I mean, the ones I sell through the fatsparrowbakery.com/shop love it, lots. I've got 2 celebration cakes at the moment, and there'll be more coming along pretty soon. I'm working on that right now, but one of them is it's a vanilla cake with lemon curd again, and it's got vanilla buttercream, and it's topped with Italian Milan torched, my fire fetish as well. And then it's got fresh fruit in it as well. And it looks incredible, if I do say so myself. And I think a showstopper like that would be good.
Oh, ace. And I mean, we've seen many a weird decoration in Bake Off tent. What would be the thing you're putting on top to set Paul's world alight?
Oh, girl, I can't put that on Dublin. So, no, do you know what? Maybe my pineapple flowers. How about
Oh,
that?
yeah.
Yeah, so
Pineapple flour, that would impress them.
yeah, it's something I'm doing at the moment, a lot more of on the cakes, and that is thin slices of pineapple that you put in the oven for hours until they turn into flowers, basically, and they're beautiful. And people look at it and think, "What is that?" And you're like,
What
"Oh,
is
it's a
this thing?
pineapple flower, obviously."
Oh,
Yeah.
great. Well, I think you definitely get Star Baker with that.
Well,
Ensemble.
we'd see. I'm sure the
We'll see.
croquembouche would do well. So
Croquembouche. But especially with that title. With the podcast, we're focusing on obviously local businesses like yourself, and we're looking around Aberdeenshire to different places to go and eat when we can again, and also wider Scotland. Where's a place in Scotland that you've had a really, really good slice of cake, sweet treat bakery item that you're dreaming of today still, that you'd like to go back to?
my sisters.
Oh, your sisters.
Yeah,
Well, you can say your
controversial.
sisters. You can say your sisters, but we also need a place people can visit. Unless your sister
Okay.
wants many random people to turn
Well,
up at her
do
doorstep.
you know what? She does have holiday homes. So I can do a plug there too if you need.
Okay,
It's
there
so
we go.
beautiful,
She'll put up pancakes.
We're all fabulous. I must say, like it's very. I've got two sisters, and all three of us are very good at cooking.
I was gonna say. I was gonna say, do you mean fabulous in baking, or do you mean just fabulous in general? Very
we're
big
just
statement
fabulous.
to make.
we're just fabulous. That's
We're
it.
very well received. Very well received.
We are, honestly. Everyone wants us at their dinner parties. It's just ridiculous sometimes. COVID has given us some time off, right? No, I think if I was looking at somewhere, it would be in my little village of Lairg, so up north, and it is called the Pier. The Pier Cafe, yeah, it's on. In fact, recently it was on Top Gear. They passed through Lairg.
Oh no way! Cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Were they doing like the North Coast 500 or something?
They were doing the NC 500. Yep. So we're slightly off route, but we're right in the middle of all route, if that makes sense.
Okay.
It's almost like the middle wheel, the whole spoke of things.
Oh, cool.
So the Pier Cafe is absolutely wonderful, lovely setting. The staff there are fabulous, and I actually went to school with the girl that runs it, that owns it, and they're very talented. And their carrot cake there is to die for. Delicious.
Is that what you would order?
It's carrot. Oh, absolutely. Yep.
Oh, Graeme, I'm so hungry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Croquembouche for one.
Croquembouche for one. Deliver it straight after this call. That'd be great.
On it.
On the topic of being hungry, I'm regretting not having dinner before we started this call. So all I want now is cake. So before I eat my microphone, I've got one final question for you.
Okay.
So you're baking a cake that can lift up the lowest of lows, darkest of days. What's your recipe to happiness?
Oh, wine. No,
I
joke.
Lots of wine.
I jest.
Wine with?
Wine with a whole lot of love, right? What was it RuPaul says? If you can't love yourself, how the hell you're gonna love somebody else? Can I get an amen? Amen. Yeah. Do you know what? A cup of happiness. A cup of love, a cup of patience, a cup of kindness. I think that's something, we all forget.
Kindness, yeah.
Kindness, and going round to somebody's house with a fresh bake or something that you've made for them. It doesn't have to be food, but just showing people that you care, that they're still there. It speaks volumes, and sometimes,
definitely.
Sometimes giving actually is a lot better than, getting something back. And I think people just, if one thing the pandemic has kind of made us do is reassess and think, relationships with people. And like where I live, I'm very fortunate. We moved here in October, and the neighbors all around me are just wonderful, like absolutely great. And we have almost like a bartering system with one neighbor. I get venison, they get cake. I mean, wow,
decent.
I say yes to that. But everyone's very thoughtful, and I think that's something as well that we can all take a bit of time to think about. It's just that we're all in this together. It's one life.
All in this together.
Dancing now. My dog is looking at me like, "What are you doing?"
My dog also just came in on cue.
Oh, there he goes.
There he is, rolling on the sofa, showing his dock to you. There you go. That's a nice treat.
Thanks for that. Talking of eclairs.
Definitely. But definitely, like, I think that's very true. It's just being kind to everyone. And yeah, lockdown has made us all reassess kind of what we're putting out, what we're taking in, what we're dealing with. And I think at the end of the day, you just need to do what's good for you. And if something's not working, you change it. And I think that's the best thing.
It is. And also take the time just to look around you and just take the time for yourself. Like it's quite good to go. I go out in the morning with the dog, she does her usual business. And I stand in the garden, sometimes 5:30, sometimes 5 o'clock in the morning, doesn't matter when it is. But, just breathe and just take a moment to think, okay, here we go. New day, it's a great start. I woke up breathing. Yes, get in there, right? And it's true, there's so much to be thankful for. So.
Exactly. And where's in Aberdeen, on that note, where in Aberdeen is your best place to go and switch off? Where do you find is your happy zone?
I'm spending a lot of time at Hazelhead Park right now, but I don't think that's going to be I know it's the dog training.
We love Hazelhead Park.
But I actually, do you know what? Down by the river is gorgeous. I love being down there. And especially the park that runs near to Duthie Park is just gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely lovely. Yeah, it's a lovely bit. So.
Well, that's inspired me on our lovely light night. It's inspired me to go out on a very nice walk and a very nice place for us to leave this lovely little interview with you, Graeme. I never thought we would be on this way of doing things.
Right, exactly.
One day I'll be interviewing him.
Exactly, and I'll be feeding you with cake, right? It just, and that's the thing too.
And talking about bushes.
You just don't know where life is going to take you, I suppose. And it never be afraid to take that risk because it's not a dress rehearsal. And that's where I'm at right now. What is the worst case scenario, I say?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I love that. It's not a dress rehearsal, people. Just got to go. It's not. Go with the flow.
Go with the flow.
Go with the flow. Well, thank you so much, Graeme, for joining me tonight. And
thank you, Colin.
Me, along with everyone, knows that the Fat Sparrow Bakery is just going to go from strength to strength. And the minute I say I see Sparrow Mail out there, I'll be hounding you for royalties. Okay.
Oh, absolutely. Why wouldn't you, right? No, thank you very much. It's been great. And yeah, absolutely. Follow me at thefatsparrow.com.
Well, we'll put all the details in the bio for everyone to follow you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, thanks so much, Graeme. Stay safe.
No bother. Okay, have a good night. Bye-bye.
And there's episode 2. It's always a good laugh meeting with Graeme, and as you could hear, you just never know what's going to come out of his mouth next. Details for the Fat Sparrow Bakery, along with all the businesses mentioned in today's episode, are listed in the bio below. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and thanks so much for listening in. Let me know how you found it by dropping me a message on Instagram at The Food Hoover UK, or on Facebook at The Food Hoover. And if your podcast listening service has the option, be a gem and leave a tiny, tiny review. That would be great. Next week is big. Hospitality in Scotland reopens, and to mark the occasion, I'm speaking to Stuart McPhee, Managing Director of Aberdeen's bustling Siberia Barn Hotel, known to many as the Trove of Shots. We'll be talking drinks, and, you guessed it, more drinks, while Stuart sheds some light on the challenges of the many lockdowns, what's next for Siberia, the venue, not the region, drinks recommendations from around Scotland, and also Stuart will be sharing some details of his new hard seltzer drinks brand, Twisted Sisters. Grab a glass, you're going to get thirsty. I'll be back next Tuesday, and until then, stay safe, eat well, and speak soon. Right. Google, how